Steve, what's the latest with, we'll start with Kristaps. How's he doing?
Kristaps is feeling better. He practiced today. I think it's the first time he's really done much since the illness, but he'll be questionable for tomorrow.
What was he? So he was able to do a little bit. How is he feeling? Like how's
He's
he
feeling
look
better.
out there?
Yeah, he's feeling better, and he went through the full practice.
Steph, is there an
Update on Sunday, right?
Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh, is he able to do anything right now?
Update on Sunday.
We got it.
There's a reason we set. Thank you. I finally did what Raymond asked me to do.
We're supposed to talk to Rick here in a little bit. What's it been like for getting him back and seeing him and talking to him?
Yeah, it's great to have him back. I just saw him this morning for the first time, and he shared a lot of stories, and it was really fun hearing about the Olympic experience. And yeah, he's such a big part of what we do, who we are. Great having him back in the building.
What were some of the takeaways from the road trip, given how many guys were injured and how you guys were kind of had the rally with?
I love how hard our guys are playing. New Orleans obviously forced turnovers, which kept us out of an offensive rhythm. So we've got to find a way to do that, to take care of the ball and to find rhythm against the better defenses, against more ball pressure, that sort of thing. Memphis game was great. Obviously, they were really shorthanded, but so were we. And I loved the effort, the energy. A lot of guys played really well.
Family is so important to everything you guys do around here. Was it pretty much a given that Rick was going to go? Then.
Oh yeah, it was given for sure.
How did you guys? I mean, you've got Drew and staff, but how did you delineate duties to kind of cover for his absence while you deal with?
Oh, we've got a lot of people in that performance group who are really good at what they do, and they were communicating with Rick every single day.
How's Draymond doing?
Dre's good. Yeah, he went through practice today, and I expect him to play tomorrow.
The offensive rhythm that you guys found against Denver and Memphis without him, how do you find that rhythm with him out there?
Well, we have to read the situation. New Orleans, we found more rhythm in the second half with Dre out there than we did in the first. And so it's kind of, some sets that we can call, doing some of our off-ball stuff. And then some adjustments that he has to make, without Steph. And those are all things that we talked about internally and, with the whole group and with Draymond individually.
What are some of those adjustments that he has to make without Steph?
Well, he's, crashing, getting some offensive boards. We saw him do that against New Orleans. I think he had 3 of them. That helped us generate some extra points. Sprinting the floor, you saw him get a layup, a reverse layup in transition. Instead of trailing the play all the time, sometimes getting out ahead of the play. The faster we can play without Steph, the more likely we are to generate a good shot.
Steve, the forward of Moses and Gui seems untraditional, but why does it work, at least a lot of the times?
Well, I think Mo's playing with a lot of confidence. He's really shooting the ball well. And then Gui has become one of our shot creators. He does it in some unorthodox ways, but he's got a great sense of the game, when to cut. His cutting frequently opens up somebody else. Sometimes that's Moses. Both guys have good size. They can switch defensively. I do like the pairing for sure.
And you seem to be inching closer toward Melt playing back-to-backs and stuff like that, and his minutes bumping up. Where's that stand? I got a couple of back-to-backs in the next couple of weeks here. Any idea yet what you're going to do with that?
Yeah. We'll know when those back-to-backs come up. He is getting closer to that, but it's up to Rick.
Did Macklin spend a lot of time around the facility growing up?
Yeah, I mean, here and there, we saw him quite a bit.
What kind of example, I guess, seeing Steph up close, and now we see Macklin kind of taking on the role of maybe a face of the franchise. What can he maybe learn from, I guess, that up-close nature of just...
From Steph?
Yeah. Pretty good example.
Yeah, I mean, it's really more a question for him, but there can't be a better example, someone to learn from than Steph. Not only just from watching him, but Steph is so generous with his ideas and his advice, and I know he's formed a connection with him, so I'm sure Macklin learned a lot from him.
How much more ingrained in the system does Luka look to you with the Lakers now that he's been there a while?
He's brilliant no matter what system he's in, who's around him. I think the Lakers are still in the early iteration of the Luka era for sure. And, as they go in the coming years, they're going to adjust the roster more and more to him as that becomes more possible. But it doesn't matter whether he's playing with Dallas or playing with the Lakers. He's still the same guy. He's going to create a good shot almost every single possession, either for himself or for one of his teammates. And, he's just a brilliant offensive player.
You changed your starting guards the last two games. What was behind that change?
Well, Melt and Pat started in New Orleans, right?
I mean, Melt obviously wasn't going to play back-to-back.
Melt was not playing back-to-back. But so with Melt out, we wanted to get BP in there, but we wanted to bring Pat off the bench so that he could come in for BP and then play with him some as well. So we definitely have some questions now with the starting lineup. I think, we were pretty consistent with it there for a little bit, but, with Al coming back tomorrow, Kristaps, we do have some questions. I'm not going to tell you who we're going to start tomorrow, but there could be some changes.
So might we see Al and Kristaps out there together?
You mean in the starting lineup?
Yeah, at
Wow.
some point.
Man, you're probing.
No, I'm just kind of wondering if that's even
Yeah.
conceivable.
When are we giving the update on Steph? Sunday? Okay, we'll give the update on Steph Sunday, and I'll give the update on the starting lineup tomorrow. Yeah, pregame.
I don't mean tomorrow. I mean at some point.
I don't know. We have to figure this out. I mean, it's we trying to start or play two of the three together, Al, Draymond. We know that Al and Draymond with Steph, pretty successful. Without Steph, not as much. We have one 17-minute sample size with KP right now. That's not enough to really get a feel. So we definitely have to mix and match a little bit and get a feel for it.
After last game, you talked about how fun it is to coach this group. I guess what about this group makes it so fun for you to coach them? And
Just great energy, and when you're shorthanded, there's kind of a mentality of all hands on deck, and you can really feel the guys pulling for each other and trying to fill in the gaps with energy and just grit. And those are always fun teams to play to coach when you get that vibe. There's a lot of joy, a lot of laughter, and you kind of have some nothing to lose in there because of all the injuries, and so you just want to come out swinging, and that's how our guys have been. It's been fun to watch.
Rick, first off, what was it like being there?
I don't know how you put it into words. It was, it was an incredible experience being there as a family unit. Felt a little guilty playing hooky from my role here, but it was certainly something that is a life memory, and to see your boy. That's my fourth Winter Olympics, so to experience those professionally, but then to have the opportunity to experience it as Macklin's dad was a completely different experience, and something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
You just walk around for 2 weeks just beaming?
Beaming is one word. Stressful, nervous, anxious at times. The incredible sort of roller coaster of emotions, as you can imagine, and just the lead up to the gold medal game with the incredible sort of the tightness and it seemed inevitable that we were going to lose against the Czechs, and somehow pulled it off and went down early to the Finns and pulled it off. So you start feeling like this is, maybe something that's meant to be, and then heartbroken in the final.
Did it feel different watching Macklin compared to maybe watching him in San Jose versus on a global stage for Canada?
Yeah, the whole context of it is different, obviously the NHL being the best league in the world, you gain a respect, and then there's a normalization to that, and then to see best on best in a tournament that is, literally a one-game knockout as you go, just with the fact that it's every 4 years, and just everything that accompanies the aura and the reputation of the Olympics was something that added a completely different context and intensity to the whole experience.
Guy joked there might be some ribbing given the result of the gold medal game. What has the result or the reception been since you came home?
Well, actually, even today, I had a mixture from the guys. Phenomenal support, and especially for Macklin. The Canada-USA thing, I think, is there's mixed feelings, mixed support. I think some people were kind of Team Macklin, and some were, Team USA and happy for Macklin, but want US to win ultimately. So, that all part of it's fun. And honestly, I think in the end, once we get past the emotion of it, the fact that the Americans won is likely good for the game. I know that's been suggested before, but it really does add to the rivalry. It adds to the profile of the sport in this country. And, as Canadians, that's all we have. We have maple syrup and hockey. Down here, you have so much more to entertain you and to pour your heart into. But for the sport of hockey, I think it actually only adds to the rivalry.
I mean, speaking of an increased profile, Macklin has really taken on an additional star factor from his Olympic. I mean, were you in just a little bubble, or did you notice that happening over the couple weeks?
Yeah, there's no bubble anymore. There was a time where you go to the Olympics and you're sheltered from the rest of the world, and you actually don't. That's still the case. It's harder to keep on top of things, and if you were watching it, say on a TV feed, that was my experience, even working the different games. But certainly we were aware of the growing attention and exposure for Macklin, and I guess it goes hand in hand with the opportunity that he worked super hard to achieve, and then ultimately just the pride to see him at that on that global stage, kind of not shy away from the moment. And that was as a parent, you're nervous, you're anxious, and then just extremely proud to see him step up and contribute in a meaningful way, and be part of the team. Not the young kid that's there for the experience and he'll contribute next games. It was nice to see him contribute in a meaningful way. How do you
think him hanging around here and around Steph as a kid growing up, how do you think that helped prepare him for this stage?
Yeah, we've talked about that for years, and I do think there's benefit, there's value in that, not just with Steph and the environment here, but our relationship with Steve Nash and my work previously with the Vancouver Canucks, and them being exposed to that environment. Because I think what it does is it demystifies it. It makes it more human and not so superhuman, and allows for what one of the things I kept on trying to remind him of is, at the end of the day, it's still just hockey, and of course the stage is different. There's lights and cameras, and there's other sort of contextual things that change the appearance of it, but in its most fundamental sense, it's still just playing hockey.
In that similar vein, Steve's kind of talked about how the Warriors organization is like a family. I guess what's it like being able to come back here, having all this support from the players, the coaches, just like cheering on Macklin and everything?
Yeah, again, it's so cool. I'd mentioned this while we were over there too. I could feel the love and the support, it's I've told people all the time, I don't think I'd be in the NBA if it wasn't for this organization. It's special, it's different, and that's probably the main reason, or the main reason that is special is because it goes beyond sort of just professional relationships. People actually care about each other, and that's from the top, from Joe and Mike and Steve and Kirk, and so we definitely felt that. And Steve was actually just telling me again today just how they kind of delayed the film session when it was the last 2 minutes of the game, and all the guys were truly interested in the outcome and how Mac was doing.
You had an immense pride in watching your son on the ice, but gold medal game didn't go the way you wanted it to go. How did you balance those emotions, because they're kind of opposite?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just you're crushed with the emotion of the game. I mean, first of all, it was a phenomenal game, and both teams played incredible. Hats off to their goalie, who just stood on his head, and that's sport. It can be cruel sometimes, and it's part of what you have to accept. And we were upset on a number of different levels, but at the same time, really proud of Macklin, proud of the Canadians and being Canadian, and really respectful, and like I said, hats off to the Americans, because they played an incredible game as well.
And what's your sense of how he has taken it since that loss? I mean, in terms of, has he changed his sort of perspective on what these games mean and what it can do for him going forward?
I think so. I don't know that that's realized yet, but I without a doubt, being around that environment, that group of athletes with the experiences that they have, you got multiple cup winners and Hall of Famers and legends of the game, guys that he looked up to. And the coaching staff as well. So I think to Macklin's credit, it's one of the things I think he's shown to be true, is that he's a sponge. He tries to absorb and learn and be humble, be coachable. So I think he picked up a lot from that experience. I think over time it will declare itself in terms of to what extent and in what areas.
Following up on that, I think sometimes as a parent you want to see how they react in defeat as much as they react in victory, and can take pride in the way that they can handle defeat. How did you think Macklin handled it?
Macklin handled it the way I expected him, which he was inconsolable after the game. He was upset. He was upset at himself. He was upset at the results. But I think that is like with a lot of athletes, it's fuel. Like I really do think it was a motivator for him, and I'm sure it's a long way to be thinking about it, but 4 years from now, that will be part of additional motivation to prepare and to be ready and to hopefully influence a different outcome. But I certainly saw that in Maggie. He's almost competitive to a fault, and probably loses perspective in the moment. But I think at this point, he can look back and be proud of his team and himself, and just say that they put their best foot forward. They played their butts off, and they lost to a better team on the day.
Steve said you were in pretty constant communication while you were over there, and
Yeah.
you've got a very capable staff, I'm sure. But just given the state of your guys' injuries right now, was it difficult at all to step away for you?
It was. Having said that, the way we're structured is, I really don't think we skipped a beat in terms of how we care for the players. My role at this point is more of an oversight role and not sort of a hands-on day-to-day. So, got an incredible group, full-time staff that on the medical and the sports science performance side of things. And so, Drew Yoder being our medical director and Dave Taylor being our sports science director, I was in constant contact with them, and more, out of obligation and a little guilt is kind of where my my sort of thoughts went, but in terms of actual, I don't think the guys missed me in terms of direct care. What's that? Thanks, Raymond.
Hey, Guy, what did you guys kind of go over today?
We went a little bit from a little bit from the last 2 games that we had, some good and bad stuff that we did. We of course went some stuff that we got to do tomorrow against the Lakers, and yeah, that was basically that.
What were some of the takeaways from that quick road trip?
I think it's most the way that we play. Like when we play with pace, it's a whole different game. You know, when we play moving the ball, everybody running around for each other. It's just such a different game for us when we do that. You know, and when we don't move the ball side to side and trying to get into the paint, a lot of like athletic team like New Orleans, that was kind of tougher for us, but we're gonna figure that out.
I don't know if you got to see Kristaps practice at all, but if you did, how did he kind of look?
Nah, he was good. Yeah, he was good. He was out there with us today. You know, like he's always like looking very, very, very nice on the court. So, yeah.
Guy, we've watched you over these years, last few years, kind of go from when you first got drafted here and G League time, and now you're in the starting lineup a lot. What do you look back on and say, okay, how did you get here, I guess is what I'm asking, the road to getting to this point?
Man, I think the key word for that is patience, you know, like, because when I got here, I was a point guard. Playing back in Brazil was like playing as a point guard, you know, having the ball in my hand. Then I spent the whole year in the G League just learning how to fit in the system here, you know, because my goal always was playing in the NBA, play for the Warriors. And what I asked him, like, what I got to do that. They said, like, all right, we're going to give you the way. Like, you got to play hard on defense. You got to be crashing the boards all the time. And you just got to find Steph. It's easy. So I said, all right, I'm doing that. So I was just working on that in my first couple of years, you know. And I think this last season right now, like, has been the best, like, of myself, you know. It's kind of like what I was doing before I got here, because I had to change my game a little bit to fit in the system. And I think that's what a lot of players struggle with, you know, because it's hard. It's not easy just like, all right, I've been a point guard my whole life. Now I'm going to be a 4, you know. Sometimes I was playing 5 in the G League. And I just, like, keep going, and the coaches here, the staff, the organization, they always nice with me. They always help me with everything that I need. And right now they giving me the option, the opportunity to show a little bit more to, you know, like, because all that happened. We lost Jimmy during the season. Now we don't have Steph. Kristaps was, like, out for a couple games, Raymond. And that's opened a little more space to show a little bit more what you can do. And I'm glad they still, like, trusting me for all these papers during the whole, you know, during this whole path to the NBA.
When you have the ball, though, you can see, we're starting to see more of that point guard skills, you know, as far as passing the ball, getting 5 and 6 assists and so forth. Are you enjoying that part of it?
Man, I'm loving it. Yeah, I'm loving it, you know, because it's like, not that I don't like the other part, you know. I love to just be in the NBA floor, but when you're in the NBA floor and you got the little, like, bit more freedom to, you know, like, find teammates and either go to the basket and do all that, that give you so much more, like, joy to play, you know. So I really love it, the momentum. Then, of course, we know when we had Steph and Kristaps that we're going to be a lot of different, you know, but we still having a great team. Everybody been playing together. Everybody been playing well. In the last couple games, we have a lot of players score more than 10 points, you know. So that's a big stuff for us right now.
Rick is back from Milan. Did you guys feel his absence in the training room, or was it pretty seamless?
For who?
Rick Celebrini.
Rick? Oh, yes. He just back today, so that was good to see him. Of course, Rick is a nice guy, you know. Rick is always joking around, the best what he does. So we missed him, and now he's back with us. I am not from USA, but I guess that everybody that is from USA is probably talking something to hinder. I was not watching that.
Sir, with everything you've gone through to get here and play here now, I know you're worried about your own thing, but is there any element of I don't know, being starstruck or whatever when you're going to step on the court with guys like Luka and LeBron James? Do you take that moment to say, wow?
I think I feel that more in my first years. Right now, of course, you respect them for all they've been doing and all they did, you know. So, but it's a different feeling. First, when I got here in the league, my first year was in the court, just like, damn, that's Luka, that's LeBron, you know, all these guys. But right now, you see them like, oh, right now I'm not thinking about that's him, or I'm just thinking like, oh, he does that, that one does another thing, like. So it's more like kind of like a scout vision than more than, you know, like a fan vision.
When you look at Luka, what makes him so tough to defend?
Man, the fact that he can stop and go, you know, all the time. He knows how to use his body. He's a great passer. At the same time, that he's a good shooter. He's a good driver, so he can do everything on the court. So that's what makes really, really tough to guard him.
Are you at the point now where you're looking at this game and seeing, all right, what are the ramifications if we win, if we lose, and for the Lakers too?
Yeah, we definitely like watching that because we know how important it is for us. Each victory right now doesn't matter, you know, if it's against who we're playing, but specifically Lakers, we know that like ahead of us, a couple games ahead of us, so that's an important matchup for us.